Okay, now things are going to get tough. System of linear equations. Okay, the definition. Okay, two or more linear equations. So I've got these two equations. Y is equal to x plus 2. Y is equal to 3x minus 2. Solution to a system of linear equations is any ordered xy pair that makes both or all the equations in the system true. Now you get this coordinate 2, 4, which will label xy. Now make a table and put the equations on each side. Y is equal to x plus 2. Y is equal to 3x minus 2. What I want you to do is put 4 in for y and then put 2 in for x. Okay, so we have 4 equals 2 plus 2. So we have 4 on that side, and on the other side 2 plus 2 is 4. So that checks out because 4 is equal to 4. And on the other side you take out your y and put 4 again. And on the other side you take out your x and put 2. So 4 is equal to 3 times 2 minus 2. So first you times, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 then is 4. Okay, so on each one we got the same number. Okay. Now, how do you find that it's 2, 4 without me telling you? Your job today is you're given two equations and you have to find this right there. Okay. Well, the first way we're going to go about it is on graph paper. You need to watch all the examples too. Okay. So here's example 1. Your two equations are y equals x plus 2, y equals 3x minus 2. Now you're going to make a table and you're going to put those on both sides. Y equals x plus 2, y equals 3x minus 2. Now the y here is by itself, okay? So I put a 1 in front of my x, so that's your m, and then b is 2. So slope, y-intercept, the slope is 1, but you got to put a number with it so it goes over 1, and the y-intercept is plus 2. Okay, now graph that line. Again, here's the y-axis, you're at positive 2, so that's 1, 2. Then from there you use your slope. Forward 1, always forward, and then 1's positive. So it'd be up 1, forward 1. Up 1, forward 1. Now you got to take a straight edge and graph it, okay? Put arrows on each side. Make sure the line goes through the whole graph. Okay, now over here, the y and the x are, again, the y is by itself, so you got m is 3, b is negative 2. If it's a minus, it's negative 2. Slope, y-intercept. So 3 over 1 and then negative 2. So the y-intercept being negative 2 would be negative 1, negative 2. So I go forward 1, up 3. Okay? So forward 1, up 3, or up 3, forward 1. Okay? Up 3, forward 1. Now there's already a point there from the other line. That's okay. Circle it if it's already there. So you take a ruler and make your line. Now, you mark where the points cross and you put an XY coordinate, okay? This point is where they cross. So start in the middle. You are forward 1, 2. So X is 2. Then you're up 1, 2, 3, 4. Y is 4. And that is how you get that answer without me just giving it to you. Okay. This is complicated. You got to watch more examples. If you got some of you guys, if you want to take Algebra 2, you cannot just go think you're going to be ready after one example. Okay. Y equals negative 3x minus 3. Y is equal to 2x plus 2. Okay, so take the equation y equals negative 3x minus 3, y equals 2x plus 2. So you got your MB right there, so slope y-int. So the slope is negative 3 over 1, and negative 3 is your y-intercept, okay? So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, okay? That's your y-intercept. Then your forward 1, down 3. Down 3, forward 1. If you can't do it a second time, it doesn't matter, okay? So you take your ruler, make that line, okay, just like that. Now in the other equation, again, the y is by itself, so you got MB. Now the y is not always by itself on some of the other problems, okay, just warning you. Just warning you. So, slope y-int, okay. So the slope would be 2 over 1, and then plus 2 is your y-intercept. So positive 1, positive 2. Forward 1, up 2. Okay, now the points, the lines are going to meet. And you need to mark the point where they meet. You make a big point right there. And you make an X, your own XY coordinate, okay? Now you start in the middle. You are negative 1, okay? So you're 1 backwards. Left is backwards. Negative 1. And then you don't move up or down at all. So your Y is 0, okay? Okay, example 3. Y equals x minus 4, y equals negative x. Okay, so y equals x minus 4, y equals negative x. So we make a wall on the y side. We put a 1 there with an m, so I have an m and a b. So slope y-int, so slope 1, y-int negative 4. So it's negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's up 1, forward 1. Okay, that is the line that represents the first equation. Okay. Now in the second equation, we make a wall. A 1 goes here, that's your m, and I put a plus 0 for my b. So slope y-int, so the slope's negative 1 over 1, the y-intercept 0. 0 is just in the middle. So go forward 1, down 1. And there's already a point there, so that's where they're going to meet at, okay? But make the lines, okay? Now, where they meet, but you got to know how to label your coordinate, okay? From the middle, you are 1, 2 forward, so x is 2. Then you're 2 downward, negative 1, negative 2. So 2, negative 2 is the solution. Okay, next example. Example 4. X equals negative 2, y equals 5. Okay, in this first one, y not here. Okay, so y is going to be 1, 2, 3. So you stack 3 coordinates up. Okay, you're not using a slope here because the y is not here. What's the letter that is there? X. X is always negative 2. Okay, and then if y is not there, we'll have it be 1, 2, 3. So we go backwards 2, up 1. Negative back to the middle, backwards 2, up 2. Back to the middle, backwards 2, up 3. So that line has an undefined slope. That's why you don't use slope, okay? It's a straight vertical line. Now in this one, x is not here. So then x can be 1, 2, 3. But let's focus on the letter that is there. Y. Y is 5. Y will constantly be at 5. Okay? Then x is 1, 2, 3. So I go forward 1, up 5. Then to the middle, forward 2, up 5. Back to the middle, forward 3, up 5. Okay? Okay, you need to make a point where your lines cross, which should be right there. Circle it. Now you got to know how to label that. You start in the middle, you're backwards, -1, -2. Then you are upwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -2, 5. Okay, now that gets dicey. X minus y equals -4. 4x minus y equals -1. So you're going to make your table. But you got a problem. You have x and y are both there in both equations. Your y is not by itself. Now, I'm going to use my notebook paper to show how to get the y by itself. You want to write on there, that's fine, okay? But I need bigger writing so you guys can all see what I'm doing. So x minus y equals -4. 4x minus y equals -1. Now you make a wall and your y isn't by itself, so I go 1, 1, okay? Make that a plus negative. Put a multiplication dot on your y, circle it. You do not want that as a negative. So you make the 1 negative, the 1 inside positive, and the 4 positive. Then you get rid of your negative, you add 1x, then you create your own x over there and add 1x to that. Now you line up your equals, you drop your 1 times y. Then you put your x, 0 plus 1 is 1, okay? You got to have the x first, then the plus 4. Then you can divide by your 1, all 3 of them. So now y is by itself. 1 divided by 1 is not a decimal, so I'll put 1x. 4 divided by 1 is 4. So now we have ourselves the m and the b. So slope is 1, but I quick put it over 1, and the y-int is 4, okay? So on your y-int, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then from that point, you go forward 1, up 1. Okay, and that's the first line. Okay, in the second equation, the y is not by itself, so I make sure I apply a 1, and the x already has a 4. Make as many minuses, and then do your dot and circle it. That's negative, so you need to make it you need to do the sign switch. Okay, negative, positive, positive. So you add 4x, then you create your own x over there with 0, and add 4x there. So I got 1 times y, 0 plus 4 is 4, plus 1. Divide by 1, 4 divided by 1 is 4x, 1 divided by 1 is 1, okay? Then m, b. So slope is 4, quick put a 1 under it because you need that as a ratio, and the y-intercept is plus 1. So I go up to positive 1 on the y, okay, because that's your y-intercept. Then we go forward 1, up 4. There's already a point there, circle it, do it again. Now we know where they're going to cross, okay. And circle the point, label it, okay. where they cross. So from the middle, you're forward 1. Then you are up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 5 is the solution to that. Okay, keep watching, please. X plus 3y equals 12. X minus y equals negative 8. So x plus 3y equals 12. X minus y equals negative 8. Okay, now clearly the y's are not by themselves. So on my table I got some work to do. I do not just go to the slope y-intercept. Okay? I don't go to my MB. Okay, so right here, put a 1. Make sure they both have multipliers. You care most about the y. It's positive, so leave it. Okay, you don't change the signs. You minus your 1x, you create a 0x and minus 1x from there. So over here I got 3 times y. Put your x down. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Then you put your plus 12. Then you divide everything by 3. Everything. The divide by 3 gets rid of the times 3 to the y. Now this is not negative 3, okay? If you divide a negative 1 by 3 like that, that's a decimal. So you need to keep that as a fraction. Negative 1 over 3. And that's your m. 12 divided by 3 is 4. That's your b. So slope y-int. So the slope is negative 1 over 3. And the y-intercept's plus 4. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there I go forward 3, down 1. I would go down 1 first if I were doing it. Okay. Make your line, arrows on both ends. Now for the other equation, clearly the y is not by itself, so 1, 1 plus negative, highlight the times. You can't have your y multiplier being negative because later that becomes the run of the slope. So that's a switch. Negative, positive, positive. So you plus 1x, then you make an x over there with 0, add 1x there. You line up your equals, you put your 1 dot y. You write your x, 0 plus 1 is 1, and then plus 8. Now divide everything by 1, can't hurt, okay? Now y is equal, 1 divided by 1 is 1, so I don't have a decimal because that's your m. 8 divided by 1 is 8. There's your b. Okay, so slope y-int. So the slope is 1, the y-intercept's positive 8. We need the slope to be in ratio form. To whole number or ratio, we just always apply a 1 on the bottom if it's not our... See, I didn't apply the 1 here because it's already a fraction. So plus 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then from there, I go forward 1, up 1. Okay, the lines do cross, okay. So I mark the point myself where they cross, I circle it, and I label what that point is. Now put your pencil in the middle, you're going backwards first, so you count by negatives. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Then you're counting upwards, so positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, positive 5. So negative 3, 5. Okay, that's the end of that.